And we are rolling on this 24th day of November at UCLA in Los Angeles, where it's a beautiful sunny day. We're about to be persuaded by Jelvon.
Hi guys, I'm Jelvon.
Hi Jelvon.
So first I wanted to ask, just like a show of hands, if anyone in here speaks more than one language. Does anyone speak more than 2 languages? Kind of? Okay. That's cool. Just want to know. So a recent study showed that 55 million Americans speak a language that's not English in the home, and 26% of Americans can hold a conversation in a language that's not English. So today I wanted to persuade you guys to go and learn a foreign language. And I'm going to give you 2 reasons that you should do this and some actions and benefits that will happen if you do. I think you guys will be interested in this speech because we're all in a world that's becoming more diverse and globalized and cross-cultural. So I think that language can really help bridge the gap between different cultures. So the first reason I think that you guys should go and learn a foreign language is because you'll be able to communicate with more people in the world. The 5 top languages spoken right now in the world are in order: Mandarin Chinese, then Hindi, Spanish, English, and then Arabic. And then for Mandarin Chinese, 14% of the people in the world actually speak Mandarin Chinese. So learning a new language is just an easy way to be able to communicate with more people in the world. And being bilingual also makes you more worldly and marketable, and we're all college students. We're going to be looking for jobs pretty soon. So I think that's a really good thing to have on your resume and something that employers will look for. The second reason that I think you guys should learn a new language is because I'm a really avid traveler, and I think traveling is a really good way to go and learn about other cultures and learn about yourself a little bit too. You can't really, traveling is kind of unparalleled, and I think learning a language can inspire you to travel. So personally, I'm a Spanish minor here. I really enjoyed taking Spanish all through middle school and also through high school. And even in college, and this summer I'm going to study abroad in Chile. I'm taking a Spanish intensive course. So I really think that language is a good way to inspire you to travel, and traveling is something that I feel like you need to be, just immersed in the world around you and stuff like that. And learning a language can not only inspire you to travel, but it can make it more fun and even a little easier, because no one wants to be that person wandering around helpless in a foreign country. So. Thirdly, I'm going to give you 3 actions that you could take to start learning a new language. The first one I would say is start small. You can download an app from the App Store, just learn a few words a day, or one of those little flashcard things that they have, and start memorizing it. And then the second thing that I would say you could do is take a class here at UCLA. That's a good way to kind of force yourself to be dedicated to learning a language, because you'll be graded on it too. But there's so many classes in different languages that you could take here. I think it's a really good time too. And then the third thing that I would recommend that you do is just practice what you learn over and over again, so you can actually start building on it and start memorizing the language. So you could just talk to yourself and just in the language, or the words that you learned, or you could just talk to your friends and invite them to maybe learn a language with you. I watch the Spanish channel sometimes when I'm bored, so I guess you could do that too. But I think after doing these actions, you'll feel more worldly and maybe feel inspired to ask your friends and family to join in with you. You might even feel a little nosy too. When I first started learning Spanish, anytime I heard someone else speaking Spanish, I would try to eavesdrop and be oh, I wonder if I know what they're saying, or stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. In summary, I have told you 2 reasons that you should learn a new language, and actions and benefits that will follow if you do. There should be no doubt in this room that learning a new language is a really good idea, especially now, and you should all go do that. And if you do that, you guys can help bring up the 26% people that are able to hold a conversation that's not in English. So, thank you.
Thank you. 424. Let's start on this side today. In the corner.
Hi, I'm Karen.
Hi, Karen.
I liked your topic. I thought it was really different from all the other speeches, and I liked how you tried to incorporate like how learning a language is relatable to all of us, which I think is really effective in like being persuasive. I mean,
A good significant statement to you. Improvement.
Hi, I like your speech.
Start with your name, please.
Sorry. Yeah, Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
I really like your speech and how you organize your speech, and it was really easy to follow through. But maybe work on projecting your voice a little bit more. I think that'll be a little more effective. But overall, I really like your speech.
Okay. Jovan, let's start. I liked your speech. It was a unique topic, something you've done, and so you chose something close to home, and so that was good. So you had sort of a passion for it. You cited a recent community survey, and it cited more than 55 million people speak a language other than, and I guess this was your research, right? And you needed to say where that was from and the year.
I can bring that.
And I didn't get a bibliography, so that was a part of this assignment, to have evidence from arguments from authority. So that was good. So then your thesis preview was fine. Your significant statement was excellent. You sold it to the audience, as Karen suggested. On your main body, you suggested the world is a changing place, and you gave us the statistics of Mandarin is 14% and so forth. But you didn't tell us where this came from, where this evidence came from, and you need to cite your evidence when you make an argument from authority. So always cite your evidence. But and I think that evidence would have is useful though to your audience to know, well, which one should I study? It seems like Chinese or Spanish seems to be the two top ones that you would get a lot of benefit out of, especially here in California. So yeah, so I would have made that link. On your second reason, you talked about traveling, and you felt that if you learned a language you would travel. And here I thought I didn't really get any strong evidence, or I just got your own analysis, and I didn't get that you had traveled or anything. And I think that would have made the argument a little stronger if we had had that. Your actions were fine. Start with baby steps, learn vocabulary, words, take a class, practice. Yes. How you feel, the benefits were fine. Your summary was good, and your tie back was fine. You started with this rhetorical question and of how many people speak at least one language and that sort of thing. So maybe I'll tie back to that and say, so I hope in the future all of you will raise your hand in the future. See, some clever thing like that would have been more participatory. Your canais were to, I can't read your, project. Don't say and remember the statistics. How'd it go?
Apparently I need to project more, so I'll still work on that.
Yeah.
I definitely said I tried to say it less though.
Uh-huh.
And I did remember the statistics.
Right, you just didn't cite them from where they came, and that's what we're after. So if everyone take note of that. It's not enough to have the statistics, but to say their reason and where they're from. And your sticky text has a whole section on how to use statistics effectively to make your speech more memorable. Use them mostly for comparison. But overall, you did a nice job. You got the job done. Thank you, Jovan.
I have a question too.
Yes?
When we revise our movie speech and that's the thing. Do you carry those with you? Because I turned it in. I didn't really type it.
You didn't type it.
Yeah.
I have it in my office if you want to come after class.
Okay, I have.
You didn't type it. You don't have a printer, or you don't type it?
No, I mean I've
did
been
it
filling
this
those
way,
out,
yeah.
but yeah, I have practice today. But maybe I'll come to your office hours next week and get it early.
Okay, next week, yeah,
Okay.
fine. If you shoot me an email, I can try to remember to fish it out and
Okay.
bring it to class.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm next on the list.
Oh, you know my list, huh? Good for you.
You gave it to us, right?
Oh, yeah. It is no secret. Sometimes I go to the bottom. I go
Is it okay?
top, bottom. Sure. Are you anxious? Okay, you're a little taller. Especially with that thing on your head. Okay. So I'll have to adjust the camera. Don't stand too far. I don't like people against the wall. It's okay. There we go. Stand that way a little bit. Yeah. Amy stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally. Close your computer, thank you. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name. Feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Could I have someone volunteer to answer 2 questions for me? The first one. Alright, so they're really easy. You just answer, it's just one-word answers. Alright, so first of all, do you say you identify as a boy or a girl?
Boy.
And do you feel that every day, throughout your day, this doesn't come into question? People don't question whether you're a boy or a girl?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. I'm really glad that you said that because unfortunately in the world we live in today, there's a lot of people that don't feel that way. I am going to persuade you to accept and embrace transgender people into your lives. I am going to give you 2 reasons why, 3 actions, and some benefits that will come to you if you accept my proposal. The reason I'm talking about this is because it's something that's really relevant right now, especially after all the news with Caitlyn Jenner, and I think a lot of people don't understand it, and so I'm hoping to encourage you to learn more after today and to hopefully be more accepting. So the first reason why I would like you to accept and embrace transgender people into your lives is because their lives are literally at stake. One day I was browsing the internet and I came across all these videos of transgender youth talking about their lives and how they felt that there was something wrong with them and that there was no place for them in this world, so maybe they should just leave it. I started crying because I couldn't understand this feeling and I just wanted to make them feel better. The Youth Suicide Prevention Center reported that over 50% of transgender youth attempt suicide by the time of their 20th birthday. So everyone in this room is around that age, which basically means that if this whole room was transgender, like from Professor Miller this way, all of you would have attempted suicide at least once in your life, which is really terrifying and sad. And this makes me feel upset and sad in the same sense because this is not how it should be. People shouldn't feel that they don't belong in this world because everyone does. The second reason that I want you to accept and embrace transgender people into your lives is because they experience just as much, if not more at times, discrimination than the most discriminated upon races. And a lot of people don't even realize this. The National Center for Transgender Inequality reported that almost 63% of people experience extreme discrimination in their life. Again, that whole side of the classroom and then some would have experienced extreme discrimination in their life. That's like debilitating, affects your job, affects your health, everything like that. So one day, this new kid came into work at Urban Outfitters, and his name was Marcus. This was over the summer when I worked there. And he identified as transgender, and he was super sweet, and we got to talking, and he told me that he was searching for a job for 5 months. He was straight out of college, he had a degree, and what would happen is he always got called into the interview, and no one would ever call him back because of this. He could tell just by the way that he said that when he walked in, they would look at him this certain way, and it would like take them back, and then all of a sudden the interview would be different. And this makes me feel infuriated because these people are so creative and intelligent, just like all of us, and they deserve just as much as we do. And it's not fair that people are just putting them in this one box and not associating them with the rest of us. Now I will present you with 3 actions that you can take to accept and embrace transgender people into your lives. The first action is that you can stand up for them if they ever come up in a conversation, or if this makes you feel uncomfortable, just stay away from the negativity, just don't participate in that. The second way you can do this is to just be kind if you ever meet someone that's transgender, or smile and say hello, because you never know what someone's going through. They could be a part of that 50%, and if you smile, it could really do a lot. The third way you can do this is you can stay educated. There's like so much research on this subject, and a lot of people don't know that much about it, so I encourage all of you to formulate your own opinions through looking into this, as opposed to listening to the media, which is the worst thing you could listen to, your friends, and even your parents sometimes. And when you do this, you could literally be saving a life. For every transgender person that you accept into your life, they are less likely to feel that they are outcast, that they are not part of this world, or that they don't deserve to be here. You could also be making like a really awesome friend. I've met so many transgender people in my life, and they are some of the kindest, like fun-loving, accepting people, which is very ironic for how a lot of people treat them. So in summary, I presented you with 2 reasons, 3 actions, and some benefits that will come to you if you accept and embrace transgender people into your life. There should be no doubt in this room that you should accept and embrace transgender people into your lives. I'm really glad that, like Dot, I'm comfortable with who I am and I'm comfortable in my own skin and don't feel that people question me. And transgender people go through so much to just get to that point, to figure out their identity, that as a community, we shouldn't be putting more on them once they figure that out. Thank you.
Thank you. 5:15. Where are we?
I'm Riley.
Hi, Riley.
What I think you did in your speech that no one else has actually done at all is when you used us as examples. At the very beginning, you used Dot as an example, but when you said like the 50% and like showed exactly how many of us there were, I thought that was really effective.
Yes, use of statistics made them sticky, memorable, comparisons. Didn't just say 20%, let's go on. You know, but that means this part of the room from this part over. That was effective. Improvement.
I'm Peyton.
Hi, Peyton.
I really liked your speech. I think it was a really unique topic, and I liked how you put it together. I was thinking about doing something similar for mine, but I wasn't sure how to kind of like fit it to the format, so you did a really good job with that. I think one thing that you could do for your statistics is you didn't include like when the study or when it was like?
They didn't have dates,
Okay.
actually. They were just
You
like
had dates in
listed.
here.
Yeah, there was one date, and I forgot to mention it. I knew that was going to happen to me.
Because
But yeah.
your statistics were really powerful, and I think if you make them more timely, then that makes it even more powerful.
Yeah, you had dates, and you always, that's part of the credibility
Yeah. One of them
mix.
didn't have a date. It was
The
just
youth
like part of
suicide,
their
yeah.
website. So,
The way you handle that is you say the youth suicide website that I accessed in, November 22nd of this year said that 50%, Then we'll just assume it's up to date. The other one was September 11th, 2012. Otherwise, people will think that you're sort of fudging a little on the statistic. Well, you used all your time. That was good. Let's talk about your speech. I thought it was really an excellent speech, Amy. Generally, I'm a little leery about using volunteers. It can go very wrong. It's sort of like sometimes, how many of you have ever cheated on your wife? You don't want to admit that in public, or cheated on your boyfriend. You get a big show of hands, right? I don't know, but I guess your questions were okay, because a boy or a girl, that's pretty straightforward, and so you got, that went okay, and you got some interest from the class, and then everyone was kind of intrigued as to what the topic was going to be, so that was fine. Embrace transgender people. That was kind of a mouthful. I know that I was trying to think of, is there some simpler way to say it, but I guess not really.
yeah, I was trying
Accept
to think of that too.
transgender people. Embrace. I'm like, do you want me to hug them? I don't know, but I was just thinking that it was a mouthful. Just a thought for you for your rhetoric, okay? Your sixth statement was excellent. I like the reference of Caitlyn Jenner, because, she came up and then, became the butt of all the late night jokes and so forth. So, that, and then became the titter around water coolers, if there is such a thing anymore. So then on your first reason, I like the fact that you shared the fact that you you used yourself as evidence, that you saw something on YouTube and it made you cry, and you remembered it and you sensed that, and I could feel your sadness at this. That was good. As we mentioned already, it's helpful to state the date on your youth suicide prevention statistic. I like the way you operationalized the statistic. You didn't just leave it as a statistic, but you made it come alive and made it real. And then you notice something else she did, folks, which is really nice, is she added that, and I feel, this upsets me, she got that emotional connection going again. And so there was a strong emotional connection with the speech, a passion that came through that made it even more sticky and effective. Your second reason was they're the most discriminated, and this 2012 study said 63% experienced serious acts of discrimination, and then you went from that, which is a perfect way to use statistics, to use a broad national statistic, and then tell the story of Marcus, which you told very poignantly. And I was very moved by the fact that this poor kid couldn't get a job. So that was good. And then you added, this infuriated me, so that was excellent. On your actions, I think that they were things that people can do, without too much effort. They can just stop telling Bruce Jenner jokes and that sort of thing. And stay educated, yeah, I guess. And when you perform these actions, the benefits, I guess, were pretty good. Saving a life, I guess. A little melodramatic, but okay. Your summary was good. Your conclusion, again, embrace transgender people, was a mouthful, but still fine. And then you say, I'm happy to say that, and you inserted his name, and comfortable in their own skin, but they're not, and that was good. Your canais were to be confident, speak slowly, and make a connection with the audience. How'd it go?
I think I might have spoken a little quickly, but I think I did better than I have done in the past.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I was like way more nervous about this speech than other ones. I don't know why. I think it's just because it's like a difficult subject to talk about, and it's something that I'm really passionate. So I was like worried about presenting it, and it's also like really risky with the audience. Like some people are like very against it, some people are really for it.
How could you be against it? What are you against? Who's against
a lot of people just have problems with.
Who's against transgender people?
Actually, I don't think you're against them. You just feel kind of like a little bit uncomfortable.
You feel nervous around. They give you the willies.
Yeah, kind of like.
Okay, that's honest.
A lot of people
but you don't want to hurt them.
Yeah, I don't want.
You don't want them to not work, right, or have a job, or not vote, right, or get married, right?
Yeah, they can do whatever they want, but just I feel very nervous.
Stay away from me. Yeah. Okay. Well, good. Thank you for your honesty. Anybody else have anything against transgender people? This is again a stupid question for me to ask. Who's going to raise their hand? Yeah.
I just think that like mostly, I think a lot of it has to do with like religion, and people feel like they're going against like what God gave them.
God.
So, yeah. So it's like you never know who you're. I have friends that are really religious and are very like. Think that these people are crazy.
God made Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, that kind of stuff.
So.
Okay, yeah, I've heard all that before.
Yeah.
I've actually had speeches like that. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much. Okay, that brings us to Melody. Hi, Melody.
Hi.
How you doing? You need my green meanie today, huh? Melody stands before you, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and center, say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi, my name is Melody.
Hi, Melody.
Scott Adams once said, you probably think I'm one of those wise-ass California vegetarians who's going to tell you that eating a few strips of bacon is bad for your health. Well, I'm not. It's a free country and you can choose to kill yourself in any rate you choose. Well, today I'm going to be one of those wise-ass California vegetarians and try to persuade you to eat less meat and provide you with 2 reasons and actions and benefits that will follow if you choose to adopt my proposal. I think you would be interested in hearing my speech because I'm not trying to tell you to become a vegetarian or a vegan. Instead, I just want you to understand that if you eat less meat, it can be beneficial to yourself and to the lives of many animals. The first reason I want you to eat less meat is because you can reduce your risk for heart disease. My support for this is research done by Dr. Muzaffarin, a health expert who specializes in the health effects of dietary choices. He has found that the fats in red meat can cause your arteries to be clogged up, which results in heart attacks and heart disease. So why is this important to us? We're young, we're active, we can afford to eat copious amounts of red meat without thinking of the consequences, right? Well, not entirely. The truth is that the things we do today, what we choose to eat and what we don't, affect how well and how long we're going to live.
In fact, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, one person has a heart attack every 34 seconds, and one person dies from a heart attack once every 60 seconds. That means by the time I'm done with my speech, at least 5 people will have already died from a heart attack. If we can do something to reduce our risk for heart disease, why wouldn't we? I feel really hopeful about this issue because even though heart disease is something that really terrorizes our health and society, it's something that we have control over and we can reduce its risk for putting ourselves in really uncomfortable, unhealthy situations. So, the second reason I want you to eat less meat is because you can save a life. According to Paul Shapiro of the Humane Society of the United States, he has found that reducing our meat consumption can reduce the risk, reduce the demand for livestock production. So this doesn't mean that the animals that are on the factory farms now will be saved, but this means that an animal that would be put into the factory farm and that would be exposed to the animal cruelty has the potential to not be. I feel really strongly about this issue because I've been vegetarian for a couple of years now. And when I first made the choice to be vegetarian, I thought, well, my choice doesn't mean anything. I'm one person in the entire planet. But then I realized, well, I'm not the only person part of this movement. If it's me, along with all the other people who have chosen to be vegan, who have chosen to be vegetarian, and who have chosen to eat less meat, we can stop the demand for livestock production and reduce the amounts of animals that are exposed to the cruelty that accompany factory farming. Actually, Paul Shapiro even stated that the rates for vegetarianism have remained 5 to 8% in the last couple of years. But the thing that has been more influential are the people who have chosen to eat less meat, even if they're continuing to eat meat. So this means that you guys don't even have to do that much. All you have to do is stop eating so much meat, and you will reduce the meat market, you will reduce the demand for meat consumption, and you will help save these animals' lives who would be put into the exposure of animal cruelty that accompany factory farming. So now I'm going to tell you 3 actions I want you to take if you adopt my proposal. So number 1, I want you to participate in Meatless Mondays. Meatless Mondays is designating one day out of your entire week not to eat meat. If you live on the Hill, every dining hall offers vegetarian options. So all you have to do is choose a salad over a hamburger one day over a week. The second thing I want you to do is go to Native Foods in Westwood. Native Foods is a restaurant that specializes in vegan and vegetarian options. Not only will you give yourself a new restaurant experience, but you will be supporting a good cause for animal compassion and healthier food options. And finally, the third thing I want you to do, if you choose not to eat less meat or if you choose to continue eating as much meat as you want, just stop eating so much processed meat. Go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's in Westwood and choose organic options. I know it's a little more expensive, but if you're choosing your health over a few extra dollars, always choose your health. Finally, when you perform these actions, you will feel healthier. You'll feel healthier knowing that if you're eating less meat and supplementing it for plant-based foods, you will lose weight, you will feel healthier, and you will be healthier. Finally, you'll also feel happier. You'll feel happier knowing that one simple choice can help change your entire life. One simple choice can help save animals from being exposed to animal cruelty that accompanies factory farming. So, in summary, I have shown you 2 reasons and offered actions and benefits that will follow if you choose to adopt my proposal. There should be no doubt in this room that you should eat less meat for yourself and for the animals that are involved in factory farming. Thank you.
That was 503. Okay. Still over here or over there? Right here, yeah.
I'm Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
I liked your speech. It was really relatable because I'm also a vegetarian. I liked how you made it applicable for animals as well as humans as well. And I think your statistic of the heart attack is very impactful because I was thinking, like 5 people by the end of your speech is crazy. So.
Thank you, Jennifer. Improvement?
I'm Khan.
Hi, Con.
I also really like your speech. I'm not a vegetarian, but I'm somewhat persuaded to maybe try Meatless Monday.
You'll eat a stick of celery, huh?
Not sure, yeah. But I think you could slow down a bit especially for a persuasive speech, you slow down a bit, add pause so that your audience can take in the information. That way they can like remember it better. Yeah.
Okay, those are good thoughts. Melody. You packed a lot in, so you had a lot to get through, which is why you zipped right through it. I liked your speech. I thought you had a nice passion. You knew the speech. You had a good command of your facts. I wish you would learn from others' critiques. I've been screaming about giving the dates of your statistics, so all you had to do was write them in and remember it, because you had it in your bib. So when did Dr. Mazafran say this?
I accessed the article like November 2015, so it was very recently.
Okay, so that helps to know this. And this same with Shapiro. Scott Adams, let's start at the top, okay? Scott Adams, who is he? It's helpful to know who. Scott Adams, a nutritionist, said...
He's an artist.
He's an artist, okay. So an artist said... And that gives your quote some credibility. So don't just pick a quote off the internet without looking up who the quote is from. I thought you did a really smart thing in your persuasive speech. I've had some people say, I want you all to stop eating meat today. And I see arms get folded. People go, are you crazy? Are you on drugs? I'm not giving up meat today. And so you wisely said, I'd like you to reduce a little bit and start cutting back on the red meat you eat. And I thought that was a good, moderate approach that actually had a chance to succeed. Yeah. So your sixth statement was good. And you mentioned that it could make a big difference in their lives. On your first reason, heart disease, my only critique is the date, and you had good statistics, which you dramatized 34 every 34 seconds, which was good. My one little quibble is you're all young, you don't think heart disease is going to affect you. Just wait, that sort of thing, adapt it a little more to your audience. Your feelings about how you felt about the heart disease was good. Paul Shapiro, again, no date. Livestock production, I thought you were going to, I liked the way you linked it to animal cruelty and not to climate change or something like that. I've had students try to do that. I think that's a real long shot, California's passed these laws for poultry to be more humanely raised and bred and so forth. So there's a trend in that direction. So people are starting to get a little consciousness about where those neat little packages in the supermarket. If they ever went to a slaughterhouse, they probably would become a vegetarian tomorrow. They're very gross things. On your actions, Meatless Monday, yeah. Native Foods is closed, but the Veggie Grill is open, so you should know that. So if they go to Native Foods, it's closed, but it's opening in December.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
Okay. My daughter's a vegetarian, so she drags me to every vegetarian restaurant in town. So, yeah, and the thing about Trader Joe's and eating good food was also a good action. Healthier and happier, yes, I thought those were good benefits. The summary, the conclusion, you skipped your tie back. You had a little brain seizure there where you didn't remember the wise ass vegetarian quote, but that was okay. Your cannot. More eye contact, good pacing, don't talk too fast, provide significant evidence, and make sure it strengthens my purpose. How'd it go?
I had more eye contact than I did last speech. I think my pacing wasn't as good as I thought because I was trying to talk so much in so little time. So maybe word economy could have been better.
Yeah.
But I think that the statistics I used, if I would have had the date, would have been more effective. But
Yeah.
overall, they were pretty powerful in helping portray my purpose.
I think that just my last suggestion to you, Melody, is this. I would have, because you need to become your best editor. And take less out and say less and say it slower, but do more to develop an argument. I have the same trouble with my debaters. They want to get 10,000 arguments in their 7 minutes, and they want to get everyone in. And I say it's better to get 5,000 in and develop them more and win those 5 rather than have 10,000 superficially developed ones. And his point was very important because give your audience a chance to let this sink in, one every 34 seconds. Beat. Someone will die of a heart attack, beat. Give every 34 seconds, every heart attack, and we go, Just goes right by, the meaning doesn't sink in. But overall, this was a very good speech. Just a few little details that you tripped up on, but good improvement over the last one. Thank you. Okay, that brings us to Dominique, the big 0. Okay. He emailed me?
That's what he said.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, good. Well, maybe he did and I didn't get it or something. Okay, let's move on to D. Amanda. Hi, Amanda.
Hi.
See, Amanda. She manned up and came. Okay, you're a little bit different size, so I'll have to adjust the camera. Just give me a moment. There we go. Amanda stands before you. Power stance, feet a little wider apart, managing the tension, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi everyone, I'm Amanda.
Hi Amanda.
So Thanksgiving and winter break are coming up, so how many of you are looking forward to going home? Yeah, I'm looking forward to going home too. But what if home was a park bench or a spot on the sidewalk or a car that you've parked on the street for a few weeks? According to the Los Angeles Homeless Security Authority, that is the reality for over 40,000 people this year in Los Angeles alone. We could drive for 30 minutes and end up on Skid Row, which is the nation's largest concentration of homeless people. Homelessness is a problem happening here and now. And that's why today I want to persuade all of you to do more to help the homeless. I will give you two reasons, and 3 actions and benefits that will come if you follow my proposal. If you remember from my study buddy intro speech, when I graduate, I'm going to go home and work at the Housing Development Board in my home country. So housing is something that's really close to my heart. But I think that it's something that should be really important to all of us because we all know how important it is to have a roof over our heads, and we should really do more to help those who don't have that luxury. So the first reason I want all of you to do more to help the homeless is because homeless people are people just like us. According to the National Coalition for the Homeless, in 2013, a third of all homeless people were youths under the age of 24. That's people our age who have to worry about where they're going to sleep at night. Last year, I remember walking down Skid Row, and while I was walking, I saw some of the most genuine, nicest smiles I've ever seen in my time in LA. We were walking down, and even though people were sitting on the hot pavement, they were saying hi to us, and they were smiling at us, and when they saw that we were wearing UCLA shirts, they even went, "Go UCLA." We weren't there to give them anything or to do anything for them, but they were still super nice to us. At that moment, I realized that it's so easy to turn all these people into just statistics. We think that, oh, the number of homeless people is just rising every year. But each and every one of these people are individuals who have the same kindness, the same hopes, the same dreams and futures as us, and we should really treat them that way. So how can we sit by while we have a roof over our heads, while they have to sleep on the sidewalk at night and we do nothing about it? The second reason why I want to convince all of you to do more to help the homeless is because organizations already helping the homeless need so much more help. Within LA, there are so many organizations that are set up to help the homeless. Urban Rescue Mission and the Downtown Women's Center are places that provide food and shelter for the homeless, and organizations like Esperanza and Trust South LA are helping to keep rent prices low and build more affordable housing. And organizations like the LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, and Strategic Actions for a Just Economy, or SAGE, are working to help implement more policies that will help the homeless. But even though all these organizations are doing such great work, 70% of all homeless people in LA are still unsheltered, according to the LA Homeless Services Authority this year. That means that for every person that you see in a shelter, being sheltered and having food and being provided for by these shelters, there are 2 other people somewhere lying on the streets not being helped. This tells me that there's so much more that we can do, and so much more that we can do to help the homeless and help these organizations. So I know that many of you have heard many of these things before, especially because we live in LA. But now I want to give you 3 actions that you can take in order to do something about it. Firstly, you can educate yourself. UCLA's Community Service Commission organizes this trip every year called Alternative Spring Break, and there's a trip to downtown LA. I took this trip last year, and it's a really good way for you to learn more about the area around you and the problems in the city that we're living in. Secondly, you can volunteer at some of the organizations that I've mentioned. There's a club on campus called the Hunger Project, and they liaise with a lot of these organizations, and they do a lot to help the homeless, and you can get involved with them. And thirdly, I want you to show respect to the homeless. We usually, when we see homeless people coming our way, we tend to walk the other way or pretend we don't see them. But if we just do what we learned in class, just look at them and say, "I respect you," and we give them a smile or say hi to them, that can really go a long way. And you should really just treat them like regular other people. So when you do these actions, you will feel happy that you managed to help somebody else and brighten somebody's day. And you will feel accomplished that you managed to do something to help people in need. At the same time, by helping these people find homes or transition, we can really make LA a better and safer place for all of us, including yourself. So in summary, I have given you 2 reasons, 3 actions, and benefits that will follow if you do more to help the homeless. There should be no doubt in this room that it is really important that we help the homeless. So this Thanksgiving and winter break, as we go back to our homes, let's not forget the people who don't have the same luxuries as us and not be apathetic and go out and do something to help them. We may not all personally know what it's like to not have a roof over our heads, but we can definitely do something to make sure less people every year have to experience that. Thank you.
Thank you. 506.
Hi, I'm Zoe.
Hi, Zoe.
I really liked your speech. I thought that you gave a lot of appropriate details and statistics, which was convincing for me. And like your felt sensing was something that it persuaded me to agree with your topic.
Thank you, Zoe. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
I really liked your speech. I think your source was really credible with specific dates, and I really like your concrete actions that we can take. But when you're mentioning some organization in the second reason, you're really fast, so it was a little bit hard for me to grasp all this information.
Right. Okay. This was a good speech. Let's start with her point. You, in your second reason, it was interesting. And I applaud your memory. You spewed out the names of 10 or 15 homeless organizations, and then you went on to point out they're not doing much, right? They're not sheltering very many because only 1 in 7 are being sheltered, right? So 70% of the people are still unsheltered. So only 3 out of 10 or whatever, 30 out of 100 are getting shelter. So that was an interesting. I was wondering where you were going with all those names. So it was an interesting thing. Let's start at the top, Amanda. You appropriately started with Thanksgiving, and that's a special time for all of us. And I might add, just really quickly, while we're on the topic, if anyone doesn't have a place to go for Thanksgiving, you're welcome at the Miller House. We'll set an extra place for you. If you don't, I hate anybody to spend Thanksgiving alone. You talked about 40,000 people, and those are just numbers, and those are meaningless until you put them in faces and pictures and real human beings. And I'll talk to you about that as we go down here. So you want people to help the homeless, and you said 3 actions and benefits you'll follow. You talked about the fact that you have a passion for this, that you're going to work on this when you go back home. And you said it's important that we all remember that to have a roof over our heads. So I thought that was a pretty good, significant statement. On your statistics for your first reason, you cited the date. Thank you. And you gave not only the statistics that LA is the homeless capital of the United States, but you then gave a personal story, which was to suggest a rather benign view of the homeless, that they were somehow just happy, friendly campers down there in Skid Row. I don't buy that. I have had a different experience down in Skid Row. I found many to be mentally ill, many to be on drugs, many to be threatening. And I don't think I'm glad you had a happy experience with the homeless, but many are difficult. Many, when Governor Reagan made all the mentally ill get out of the mentally ill hospitals and put them out on the streets instead of having health care for them. We have a lot of mentally ill people just walking around talking to bushes, and it's not a pretty sight. So even though you had a personal story, I didn't grant adherence to your first reason. I didn't buy it. On your second reason, you talked about the fact that there's a lot of organizations, but we're not doing enough. So basically, your argument was there's a really pressing need. And I think you made that case very strongly. So that was good. The thing that I thought was lacking in this was, as you saw, say, in Amy's speech, was maybe a story of a 24-year-old that was down in his luck, somebody homeless that didn't get his loan from a college or something. The story of a guy that you could have brought in that would have put a face to all these statistics and numbers. Your actions were, of course, good, and they were specific, and I love this alternative spring break instead of, a week of, debauchery. You actually, do something for your eulogy and not, something to ruin your kidneys. So that was a good call. I like that a lot. The hunger project, so you gave them a specific place to go. That was good. And yeah, respect the homeless, and yeah, say the mantra. I thought that was good. On the benefits, yes, I thought it was a little utopian, but it was fine. Your summary, your conclusion, and your tie back were all fine. I would just say the one thing lacking was the lack of a portrait of a homeless real person suffering that we could have identified with. Your canais were to stay within the time limit, to speak slower, stop saying so and like. How did it go, Amanda?
I tried really hard to speak slower. I think I was slower than last time. So.
Yes, you were.
And I stayed under time, so that was good.
That was good, yeah. And the way you can really guarantee to stay under time is do some editing. I would have cut out all those stories. I would just have said there's dozens of homeless organizations, but they're not doing very much, you know. What did you design into the speech that was unexpected that you think would have grabbed us in some way? What was unexpected?
I tried to make like the opening unexpected because I asked like who was going home, so it just sounded like a casual conversation. But
yeah.
I revealed that there are 40,000 people who don't have a home to go to.
Yeah. So it was kind of a resting statistic was your grabber. Okay, good. Okay, you did a nice job. I liked your command of your material. You have an excellent memory. I'd like to see more of an emphatic style of delivery. Have you slow down and really not be afraid to pause, to even stop, and then go on. Are you comfortable with silence in a speech? Get used to it. It can be very powerful. Okay. Thank you, Amanda. Okay, that brings us to... How's our time looking? Yeah, we have time for one more. That brings us to... Where am I? That brings us to Dot. Saved by the Bell. I even have plenty of juice in my battery. How about that? So we don't have to change the battery. Oh, you're tall. Okay, good. Let me do something about that. Okay, yes. Yes. No, I didn't get it. And Doc stands in front of us, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, saying to himself, I respect my audience. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center, say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hello everyone, my name is Datu and I'd like to start off with one question. How many people in this room have pets? That's awesome because this speech is going to relate to you very well. Today I'd like to persuade everyone in this room to spay and neuter your dogs and cats. I think this would be very important to everyone because everyone has pets that they love, everyone has pets that they want to keep around for as long as possible, and by spaying and neutering them, they'll be able to keep them around forever. The first reason why I think that you should spay and neuter your pets is because no one wants to go through the hassle of having to deal with taking care of a litter of puppies, kittens, or anything like that. Even though it's an extremely beautiful process, it's a very stressful and long situation, and it's extremely scary. The reason why I say this is because I've gone through this process. At the age of 16, my German Shepherd had a litter of puppies, about 5. Upon birth, 2 of them were dead, which was a very scary, sad process for me because I questioned how come they didn't come out living. So it was just weird for me to experience that and say, I could have done something better. And I feel like if everyone, including myself, had taken more responsibility and just decided to spay and neuter their pets beforehand, it would make it set up that this kind of situation wouldn't happen. My second reason for saying that we should spay and neuter our pets is because, according to the Humane Society of the United States of America, 2.4 million puppies and kittens are put to death every year. That's about 13 puppies and kittens every 13 seconds. So by the time I'm done with my speech, about 22 puppies and dogs and cats would have been put to death. I feel like that number is extremely high for how much everyone seems to love dogs and animals. And I feel like if we all take, or if we all step back and think about, or if we all spay and neuter our cats and dogs, this number would not be as high as it is, and overpopulation of dogs and cats wouldn't be a problem that it is today. So now I'd like to provide you with 3 actions that you can have if you take my proposal. First, you can go, if you have a dog, you can go to the local pound and talk to them about spaying and neutering your dog or cat. Second, if you don't have an animal and you are interested in getting one, you can always go to the local pound and adopt a dog or a cat. And thirdly, if you're not interested in any of these things and you're not interested in owning the animal or anything, when you see a stray dog or cat wandering around on the streets, you can easily call animal services. And by performing these actions, you'll be both saving a life and making your existing pet's life happier and healthier. In summary, I've told you 2 actions and 3 reasons why you should spay and neuter your animals. And there should be no doubt in this room that spaying and neutering your animals is beneficial to everyone. We all have animals that we love and care about deeply, and we want to keep them around for as long as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Where are we? Here?
Hi everyone, I'm Giovanna.
Hi, Giovanna.
Okay, so I really liked your speech. I thought the format was really clear and it was really easy to follow. And I liked how in the intro you kind of interacted with us and made the question, and so that made it more engaging.
Yeah, I got everyone to raise their hand or think about their pet. Improvement?
Hi, Melody.
Hi, Melody.
I think that there are certain times in your speech where you kind of got out of the power stance and you started swaying a little bit, and then your eyes are kind of reverting to the ground. And so maybe if you have a clearer focus, like with the audience, your speech is a little more powerful.
Okay, those are good thoughts. Were you aware of that?
Yeah, when I would forget like a line or something, I just like look down to the ground and think about what I needed to say.
Okay. Just a few more run-throughs. You'll have it, in the schema, and it'll just be second nature to you where you're going and what you're doing. Well, you started with a rhetorical question. You got everybody interested in a good topic, and you gave a good thesis preview. So that worked. And your significance statement, you overclaimed that I'm aware of this because you said, if you spay or neuter your cats, they'll live forever, and they won't. But I'm being picky because I have 2 15-year-old cats, and they're getting, in their old age, and so I'm having to deal with old age problem with cats. So I know that sadly they're spayed and neutered, but they, they're getting old, So, but yeah, it does help their health. So that was good. So on your main body, this was, I thought, your best support when you told your personal story. I would have liked you to have elaborated and done a little more felt sensing on how scary it was and how sad you were that they were dead, and how you wondered why, and you know, you had some stuff in here about the Eagles and that you didn't mention and stuff, so that would have been interesting to hear about. But that was still a powerful story and reason for doing it as a really, it can be very tiring and trying event to go through the birth. On your second reason, here's where you cited your statistics. No date. Okay, so let's put in that date.
When I looked it up, it didn't really have a date.
So, as I said, just say I accessed it November 24th, and so do it that way.
Okay.
On the Humane Society's website, when I accessed it on November 24th, their statistics said. So do it that way. Okay? Yeah. And I like the way you dramatized the statistics and said, 22 to death, and that was excellent, and that was well done. So you made your second point very dramatic and well done, so that was good. Your concrete actions were okay. They were specific, and so they were consistent with your what you were asking people to do. The benefits could have just been elaborated on a little bit more. It could have been a little longer. Your summary or conclusion and tie back were all fine. Your canais, relax and deliver, remember everything, and make it within time. You were within time. How did it go?
I wasn't relaxed enough. I realized on my last speech, since I was more relaxed, I was able to deliver it better, and I was able to make a connection with the audience a little bit better. What's my second one?
Remember everything.
I missed probably a very big detail, but not really. I remembered everything.
Yeah, you did. You remembered the whole outline.
Yeah, I remembered everything to the point that I was able to say it. I didn't remember everything word for word, as I probably would have liked. It probably would have made the speech a little bit longer.
Yeah, well, you said something I don't like to hear from a student on speech. I don't want it word for word, but I want ideas for ideas. And so, you don't have to say it word for word, but, if that idea about the eagle or something, and if you find in practice that's not being put in, then have the person you're practicing with do a little reminder, do a little memory work just in that area so that you remember to jog yourself and put that part in. But overall, you did a nice job. I think that you have the schematic memorized now, a beginning, a middle, and an end, where you can do any speech and do it without notes, and that's really excellent because you can plug any speech into this format and speak extemporaneously, and that's what I was after, and you accomplished that. Thank you. Okay, our work is done for the day. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. If anyone doesn't have a place to go, see me. Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's me.
I was unable to come to class on Thursday.
What a tragedy.
And I was supposed to go on Thursday. So I was wondering if I could arrange a time that I could do my speech.
Yeah.
Or,
yeah, that's fine. You could do it during office hours or next week, or if we get done early.
Okay.
Then,
would you rather me or do it during office hours, or just wait and see if we get done early?
Well,
and I
either
can do
way,
it for the
yeah.
class?
Probably wait and see if we get done
Okay.
early. I think
Sounds
we're going to
good.
be okay.
So I'll wait, and then if we don't have extra time,
Okay.
I'll arrange something else.
Okay, good.
Great,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Bye.
Sawyer.
Ah, look who's there.
How are you?
Layla. Oh, here's Layla. Still after, I had a bad weekend, as you know.
I even called you.
During my tournament?
No.
You didn't have a bad weekend.
No, I had a great weekend.
I was like, it was fun.
But it was, I had a busy weekend.
Yeah.
It was a great tournament, yeah.
Oh
It really went well. Did you see I put your picture up on Facebook?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I put your picture up on Facebook. Are you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,